What I would say about myself is that I have a discerning awareness of things. I think it's part of being raised by a very creative mother and having sisters who went to art school. From the very early time, that was just part of my awareness, is what the integrity of things were. I do that with people, too.
Why do you save papers from your family?
Why did I save them?
Yes.
I've always been interested in personal journals, travel journals and of other people and early settlers and botanists. Their own words about how their minds were working. Everybody's got a history. They've got a continuing DNA, and they're related to all these other people that they don't know anything about. I would love to go back 1,000,000 years and, reach some genetic being related to me in a serial way, and find out what kind of lives they had. And just little things, how they got through the day and what they did and what they grew and, what they saw and everything. Because none of it is accessible. I didn't take that, nor did I take those. But this one probably, we had a young friend in Chapel Hill who was studying journalism. He was a photographer, and he'd come and spend hours at our house. Most of their clothing I made. I knitted their sweaters and made their overalls, and not these, but I had a system of, providing clothes for them. That's your mother. That's our beautiful house in Chapel Hill, which we built and I miss. And here the family is in Zermatt. That's the Matterhorn there. And Kate's dad. I took them all to Europe in the 50s sometime for the whole summer. This is your mother Kate on a pony here on the island. Pictures and family papers and magazine articles and anything pertaining to my family I've saved. I think most people do. I know my sisters do. It's a drawing your mother did. This is her album. I have one of these for each one of my children. It's a responsibility when you're trying to preserve something. You have to know how to protect stuff. There are many different reasons to collect and many different reasons to let go. For a period of years, I photographed and studied photography or took a few classes in painting and stuff. I've done all that, and pottery and everything. But it's just the emphasis in my life is looking at things. When you watch plants, you notice when they get stressed, they act in a different way. For instance, if you watch plants that like cold weather, they bolt when the weather gets more than they can tolerate. Mm-hmm. They're stressed. And why are they stressed? I think they're stressed because their species is stressed. And they know that somehow on a special level. I think the reason that men go beyond the bounds in war and stuff is that really they know that they're going to kill or be killed. And the whole physiology of that person is stressed on a very special level. That bow is as tight as it can be. We have to acknowledge our inherent, if that's the word, violence. understand it, acknowledge it.
You have created around you a family who are purveyors of light rather than darkness. And I ask you why.
Why? A way out, maybe? We're all capable of violence and great creativity. We need to acknowledge the violence in us and rechannel that creative energy. You really should feel related, I think, to all other life on the planet. On a cellular level, you're pretty much the same cells. All life is related. I'd go to the university and talk myself into a botany course. The professor asked me if I wanted to participate in the lab, and I said, yeah, unless I'm in the way, you know. And I saw for the first time cells multiply. I should have seen it when I was 10. See, that's the kind of school I wanted to go to. That was so amazing to me. That just at the tip end of this root was doing this, and no one was watching. You know, under the ground all the time, this is going on.
Yeah.
And you're related to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of you.
Totally.
Totally.
You know, William Faulkner talked about his home in Oxford, Mississippi as his little postage stamp of native soil, and that's what your place in Morgan Creek was.
It had to be made that you have to somehow give that energy into a place that's part of you. It's a thought process to do that.
Yeah.
My mother always had a canary. She whistled, and she had a huge repertoire of First World War songs. She knew them all. My mother was absolutely wonderful. I think about her all the time. Not all the time, but certainly every day. She told me I would. She said, "You're going to miss me." And then I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to miss this old woman. We've said everything to each other that we need to say. But that's not true. Because, you know, you're not mature enough to ask the right questions when you're young. And she was so willing to talk about so much, and of her past and everything. Life is short, it's miraculous, and it's really so brief when you get to be really old. And you can't believe that it's gone so fast, that one's life is so short. There's so much to learn.